Rocking the Demonware bomber. Got the dev team tag right there. All right. This is my full journey on how I became a senior engineer at Activision, aka Microsoft, without a computer science degree and without a boot camp. Let's get into it. Devs, what's good? Just pull up a chair, get cozy, because it's story time. It's time to clock in, man. Today we're just gonna have a little fireside chat. But hey, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Derick, and like previously mentioned, I'm a front-end engineer working in the gaming industry based here in Los Angeles. But in today's video, just like the title suggests, I'm gonna be going over my complete journey to senior front-end engineer at my current role with Activision. No, I did not major in computer science, and no, I did not go to a boot camp. Y'all remember those? You guys remember those? In fact, web development wasn't even the thing that I initially wanted to do with my life in the first place. So without further ado, let's just get into it because I'm about to yap. So in the very beginning, I'm talking like high school, I initially wanted to be a filmmaker. I wanted to go to film school and I wanted to do cinematography, editing, and video production, and basically just all that jazz. Guess I'm kind of doing that in my own way now here with the channel, but hey man, it's close enough. Film school was absolutely out of the question, and my young, naive mind was quickly poisoned by the daytime television commercials promoting none other than ITT Technical Institute. Education for the future.
ITT Technical Institute, School of Drafting and Design, education for the future.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember those cheesy ads, but your boy got sucked in. So since film school was just out of the question, it was way too expensive, I found a program that I liked at ITT, so I enrolled. I majored in graphic design and visual communication and graduated from there in 2011. But rest in peace, man. That's right. If you know about ITT and you follow the lore, they are no longer around. They kicked the bucket back in 2016. They just had some really predatory loaning practices, and they actually got into some serious financial trouble with the US Department of Education and were actually sanctioned. So as a result of that, they had to shut all of their campuses down nationwide. But that is where and what I went to school for. That's what I have a degree in, and design is what I did for the first few years post-college. So I graduated. I quit my then college job at a local Chipotle, and I started my first full-time role at a small company in Sacramento as a graphic designer. No web development, no coding, no programming, none of that stuff just yet. So yes, I started in design, mainly print design. I designed graphics for products, packaging, labels, merchandise, and even some printed publications, which was really cool. It's really cool to just see your work out there in a printed publication. It's really a unique feeling. Seeing your work out on store shelves and in pallets of product in a warehouse, it was really cool. I was at this role for about a year and a half before leaving because I was just miserable. The job turned into a real just absolute nightmare. There was initially a web person there and a social media person who had since left since I took that role, and after their departure, basically all of their responsibilities fell onto me. So I was wearing three hats basically. I was the in-house designer, web developer, and social media marketer person. And I had actually received all of this extra job responsibility with the substantial raise of fucking goose egg zero. None of this came with a pay increase. So yeah. The mental health really started to take a dip at this point, and I was just feeling overwhelmed most of the time. So I actually left this job in mid 2012. I quit. After leaving that role where I was just being completely exploited, I actually wound up going back to Chipotle for a little bit just to kind of figure things out. It's now 2013. I'm super young at the time, still living at home with my parents. So this was just something at the time that I could do. This is definitely not something that I would do now, but I just wanted to take some time and figure things out and figure out what direction that I wanted to go next. After rolling burritos again at Chipotle for about 6 months, I was interviewing with and offered a junior level position at a startup. This startup was a complete greenfield environment. We were starting from absolute scratch. In fact, my first day at this role was actually building chairs and desks that the founder and the co-founder had went and picked up from the local IKEA. That's just how raw of a startup environment that this job was. It was just a little ragtag group of ambitious founders, designers, and junior level developers trying to develop the next big thing. I was brought on as a UI UX developer and was designing user interfaces, user flows, and then I would actually have to turn around and build those things for the front end. So it was a bit of a hybrid role. I got to do a lot of designing, ideation, and development. So it was just like this really enjoyable mix of creativity and problem solving. Really grateful for this role at the time. I just learned a mountain of skills at this job. This is actually where I was introduced to Git, GitHub, Bash, Apple Terminal, version control and branches, IDEs. I was a big Atom user at the time. Shout out Atom. Sucks that GitHub really decided to sunset that one, but this was like way before I was into VS Code. But I was definitely an Atom power user back then. And this role was actually where I got an introduction into JavaScript and jQuery. But alas, this job did not last long, as basically after we had launched our first iteration of our MVP, which was this browser-based web app that was supposed to compete with OpenTable and Yelp, I, along with another developer, were promptly let go. I was laid off. And this was my first. And if you've ever been laid off before, you know that your first is, it stings. Yeah, this one hurt. I was only at this role at the time for about 10 months. I was only there about 10 months. So not even a year. But yeah, if you've ever been laid off before, you know that your first one is always the hardest. I was in my early 20s at the time, and I was just crushed. And little did I know, this was just the beginning. For the next 8 years, I would ride the most turbulent and volatile career roller coaster of all time. So yeah, buckle up for that. 2014, my next role, UI engineer at an internet real estate company for about 2 years. Boom, laid off. 2016, web developer at an HR payroll processing company for about 6 months. Boom, laid off. Early 2017, junior developer at a small software and help desk company for about 3 months. Boom, laid off. To this day, I don't even put this one on my resume. It's not on my LinkedIn or anything, because honestly, fuck them. They can fucking suck it, dude. I hated that job. On to mid 2017, front-end developer at a web design agency for about 2.5 years. Boom, laid off. 2020, pandemic era, remote front-end engineer at a contact lens company for about 9 to 10 months. Boom, laid off. Shout out COVID-19, appreciate that. Totes preach. Thanks for that one, buddy. So at this point, I had basically filed for unemployment insurance more times than anybody I know. 6-time world champion, UI collector, right here, baby. I know the drill. Those continued claim forms that you get every 2 weeks to receive your benefits. Oh, I know. Whew, I do not miss those. But now, moving on to 2021. So at the time, we're still in the thick of it with COVID, the COVID-19 pandemic, and just about every job posted online is remote. And boy, were there a lot of them. I felt like every week, or at least every other week, I had recruiters reading out to me to schedule some kind of introductory call or message me about some random opportunity. It was nice, Definitely a stark contrast to how the market is today, but in 2021, that's just how it was. Back then, it was definitely an employees market. Now it's unfortunately an employers market. It's rough out there. So I actually made 2 videos covering the absolute shit show that the job market is last year. And to this day, they're actually still pretty relevant. So after this, feel free to go check them out. But it's now early 2021, and I'm in the interview process with 2 roles. The first was being a remote, full-time, permanent role working in an enterprise level application built in Angular. This was with a company actually based here in Los Angeles. And the other was just a 12-month contract role, but with Activision. I was actually interviewing with both of these simultaneously, but just about one step further in the process with the full-time Angular role. Things were going like really well, and I could sort of feel an offer coming, but I wasn't positive. And I was on the fourth or maybe fifth step with the recruiter for Activision. It was actually through Tech Systems. So I was interviewing with the other role and then interviewing with Activision along with some guidance from the account manager at Tech Systems. Shout out them, by the way. Highly recommend them. I've worked with them several times in the past and I've never had a bad experience. But I was interviewing with both of these roles and wrapping them up kind of around the same time. Now, I had been just kind of doing a lot of thinking, and I was like, okay, this Angular job is full-time, permanent, and it's got all the goodies, it's got all the perks, it's got the PTO, it's got the sick leave, it's got all that. While the contract role with Activision doesn't have much. As a contractor through Tech Systems, you don't really get any of that. You do get these kind of like bare minimum benefits that essentially don't really cover anything. It's kind of a catastrophic medical plan. And it's just essentially at the end of the year so that you can get a 1095B so that you don't get dinged on your taxes when you go to do them. And it's to basically prove like, yeah, you had coverage for your time with the contract. So there are some benefits there. They're just very lackluster and they don't cover a lot. Also, with the contract role, you have to fill out a weekly time card, and the gig itself just has an expiration date. There is no guarantee of a full-time offer when the contract ends. So on one hand, I have this cushy full-time role with benefits, or a 12-month contract gig with the potential of a full-time offer at the end of it. But it's at a company that's essentially kind of a household name, and man, it would look really great on the resume. Plus, I'm a lifelong gamer. I grew up playing Spyro the Dragon, Crash Bandicoot, Guitar Hero, Call of Duty, all of that stuff. And getting to work for them and have them on the resume would be kind of sick. So you kind of see my dilemma. A week or so goes by and something just told me to kind of hold out and wait until I hear back from the account manager at Tech Systems. But I had decided to just take the risk, and I actually reached out to the contact for the full-time role and basically thanked them for their time and that I had accepted a role elsewhere and that I was not going to continue on with the interview process. This, however, obviously was not true. Just, I don't know, man. Something told me that the contract role with Activision was going to come my way. And sure enough, after the technical eval, after we wrapped up all that stuff, the account manager from Tech Systems had reached out to me and told me that they would like to extend an offer. So we got it. We got it, baby. We're in. No benefits, no perks, no PTO, but we get to put Activision on our resume. And that's it, man. I signed the contract and I got all of my contractor accounts and everything set up, all of my logins for everything. They had communicated with me when my start date would be, and then a work laptop was shipped out to me the week later. Now, fast forward a year into about 2022, I put my time in. I crushed it as much as possible. Basically did whatever in my power that I could that first year to just guarantee that my ass gets a permanent full-time offer at the end of the 12 months. And your boy pulled through. We pulled through. Also, at this time, Modern Warfare 2 was released and really well received and just made a metric fuck ton of money. So the company was just in pretty good shape financially and things were good. So I wound up getting on board full time. So right at that year mark, basically the next week, they retroactively extended my contract 2 weeks. So one more pay period. And this was essentially to extend the offer and convert me like internally with HR and in Workday and all that. And the following week, my manager had slacked me over the offer letter for me to review. And you best believe I promptly signed that bad boy. And here I am, almost 5 years later, here in early 2026. So that's it, man. It's been a long journey to get here, with a lot of L's. Actually, I'm gonna say it again. I did not graduate college and just get that mythical 6-figure tech role immediately after school. Like not even close. It took me over a decade and a lot of shit, just throwaway jobs, but here we are. So if you're just starting out and you're in the market right now, if you take anything away from this video, it is that experience is S tier. It tops everything else. But I do strongly believe that it is important to have a stellar portfolio, possess soft skills, and demonstrate that you can utilize LLMs as a learning resource and tool for solving problems, not vibe coding. But do not sleep on soft skills. You can be the best engineer in the candidate pool, but if you're awkward as fuck and you just don't interview well, I hate to break it to you, big dog, but nobody's gonna want to work with you. So be personable, charismatic, and show a willingness to adapt and learn, and you'll be in great shape. Nobody has every skill listed in a job description. You just have to be trainable and secure that first role to just get the ball rolling like I did. So to recap, in the beginning, I started as a designer, then did UI UX mixed with some very basic dev, then shifted fully to web development over time, working at small companies, one startup, a few medium-sized companies, and then finally on to big tech over the span of 12 years. But that's it. That's the full breakdown of my career from the very beginning. If you have any questions or remarks, feel free to drop them below. I always read the comments. But I hope y'all enjoyed this. Shout out to you if you've made it this far in the video. Hopefully this inspires you and gives you some sort of insight into at least my journey into tech as a senior engineer, because as you just saw, it was not an overnight thing. So folks, that's gonna do it for this one. I'm just gonna cut it here. Also, be sure to click that like button, and I will catch you all in the next one. Take care.